Welcome back. Now on Agenda, we bring you a special new segment called The Face Behind the Microphone. Over the next few weeks, we'll introduce you to some of the faces behind radio's most familiar voices. And today, we take a look at behind the scenes at 680 News. We profile political affairs reporter John Stahl. Let's take a look.
Lisa, the airlines say they haven't raised prices. It's just that demand is eating up all of the lower fares, so the only seats available are the more...
John certainly is a seasoned reporter. He's been overseas. He's reported all throughout North America.
It's kind of like walking history, because the guy knows his politics. He knows his Canadian history. He knows his radio history, too, because he's been everywhere and done practically everything.
He just has more life experience. He brings a different perspective. He's a smart, calm, sage kind of guy.
Putting together a show like this, we can get pretty intense, and things get squeezed quite tightly as we're coming up to our deadline. You know, we're all in very, very early in the morning, and John is so level-headed and so easy to work with, a joy.
Within the profession, I would say he demonstrates a compassion in whatever he is doing, be it a light story or a heavy story.
He cares. He cares about the station. He cares about the listeners. I mean, not saying that the rest of the reporters don't, but he just has this way, because, again, when you're talking about politics, it's not an easy thing to try to explain. And he just has a certain way of breaking it down so that everybody understands what is going on.
He is so knowledgeable. He's been working the political beat in the city and knows all of the players very well, in fact.
If you have somebody that you want to get as an interview and you don't think you can get him, you send John to get him, and John will get him. So that's a recurring theme when it comes to John.
Political desk, John Stahl, 680
News Time.
A couple of years ago, John Stahl was involved in a story that had at Queen's Park, and literally a riot was going on down there. I think it was protesters and the police. And the police were all in riot gear. Now, I wasn't down there for this. I was here at the station, but I was listening to this. And John Stahl was down there, and for I'd say maybe about 15 minutes reported on this thing. And he actually became the story himself, too, because he was right in there when the police were pushing back on the protesters, and the protesters were pushing back. You can hear John, okay, here we go. Oh, I'm being shoved. I'm down on the ground. I'm being stomped on. But he kept going. The man kept going for like 15, 20 minutes straight, nonstop, giving us all the info that was going on. It was like you were right there, and I think that's probably one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard him do.
His experience makes him different, and he also approaches things from, he doesn't get panicked. he stays calm, and he knows everything's going to work out. He's got that quiet confidence that only comes with experience.
It's kind of funny because, you know, as much as he knows all the ins and outs when it comes to politics, don't let John ever near any of the equipment, because John doesn't know what button to go with what. John is the kind of guy who will just be like, what is this? Why is that there? And he will push everything just to try to get his mic going or whatever else. So equipment, let him stay away from the equipment, John. It just doesn't work for you.
680 News Time, 6:37. That didn't take long.
John Stahl not only can execute an interview on the air and get the talking points and get everything in, but you never know what he's actually done off the air to develop that person's confidence. It's magical.
Are you in a position to do a short interview with the airline situation?
He's a good friend. He's a good friend, but even more, he's a great mentor.
I just have tremendous respect for him, and you know, in the heat of the day, and you've seen how we work, it's very intense, and everyone's running around like crazy, and you know, I don't think I've ever really taken the time to say how much I respect him, so I do, and rely on him too.
Personally, I love calling him the Godfather. And the reason why I like calling him the Godfather is you know what? He's number one in my books. So I do it out of respect.
The senator.
Senator.
That's his nickname. That's what we call him off air all the time. It really completely describes John Stahl. He's got like I said earlier, a breadth of knowledge, a depth of knowledge, and he also has a presentation that is very authoritative and yet accessible.
All righty.